Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Elias here with Weekly Wrestling Heat. We are back with another episode. And welcome everybody back to the crew. We have one new person here today. Who is that? It's Matty Ice, aka Matt Descend. Welcome to the show, buddy.
How's it going? Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here to be able to talk a little bit about wrestling. It's been a long time since I have talked to either of you guys in a long form way. We have this chat that we sometimes talk about opinions. Usually you guys are wrong and I have to call you out on them. But now I get to do that verbally, which is going to be way more fun than when I have to sit there and try to chit-chat and chat and all that stuff. No. Now I'm here to call you out on all the BS live and in person.
Guys, we got Matt to watch every we got Matt to watch every wrestling show except for Impact for this, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, that's next week. That's next week. I watch Impact as well. I'm excited. I did not get to finish NXT because I had to leave early in my day. I got to see the highlight package, though, so that was fun. I saw the highlights of Raw, even though it turns out you guys don't even talk about Raw because reasons. But I did watch all of AEW, and I'm excited to bring my 2 cents about AEW here.
The thing with Raw is, do you really want to watch a 3-hour show and then dive into it on a show that you're trying to keep an hour long and cover everything?
No, because so much of it is fluff, right? Like I watched the top 10 highlights of Raw, and like that's like one of the best ways to, like, if you really want to keep up with the scene of wrestling in the professional world of like WWE, because you got to remember, like, Raw's 3 hours, right? SmackDown's 2 hours, NXT is also 2 hours, and then if you're crazy and you watch, they still have main event? Do they still have superstars or just main event?
No, it's just main event.
And 205 Live, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's way too much wrestling. Like, they don't expect people to watch all of it. Like, and that's part of my issue with something like WWE right now, is I just don't have the time to commit to it. It's too much to like try to like be a part. I'm jumping bases. I'm jumping around. Let's stay on topic. Elias, you rattle us back in. Bring us back in.
No, I actually enjoy the conversation. All right, let's get into it. Wrestling news. Let's get into it. So Steve Cutler actually got released this evening by WWE. He got wished future endeavors. And WWE reported grossing margins this year in their Q4. So that's a pretty good thing for WWE. And I think that's pretty much it.
Are we live on Facebook?
No, we're not. We're live on YouTube.
We're live on YouTube.
Yeah.
Where's the YouTube link? I'm trying to find it so I can share it with you.
It's in your message. It's in your messages.
Messages.
I didn't see it there. I just saw the Steam these ones. Okay, let me see. Okay. I'm there now. I'm checking it out. I'm gonna go open it up. I'm gonna share this around the interwebs, around the World Wide Web, so that we can talk about it, because I want to skip a little bit about some of the news that we're talking about in terms of people getting released, fired, or maybe they got dropped because they got tested positive for COVID again. I don't want to talk about that right now. What I want to ask you, Elias, is I want you to explain to me, so I have a better understanding of this, is what is up with Dave Meltzer, and what is up with a large portion of the fan base of wrestling fans who don't care for Dave Meltzer's reporting. And I'm asking,
can I take this first?
Sure, I'd like to hear Moises' opinion on it too, but there was only one of you that was very vocal in today's chat, and I don't understand it because I got into Dave Meltzer, I don't know, like 2012 or something like that, and as I was watching his stuff, or as I was like reading his stuff and like his reporting and different things that came out from him, I noticed that he was more, averagely right. He wasn't like exceptionally right, but he was averagely right, and the things that he said weren't like extreme or crazy. And when he was wrong, as I was even able to pull up a couple of instances, it's not like he just like tried to like scoop stuff under the mat. He said, I was wrong about this. Oh, well, let's move on. So what is your thoughts, Moise, about Dave Meltzer and what the internet fan thinks?
So I go to Wrestling Inc., not a sponsor, for all my wrestling news. And
what? They're not a sponsor of this? You're kidding.
No, I'll get Justin LaBar on soon, though.
Gotcha.
But basically, they do a live recap after every show, and they run down news at the end. The owner of that site, really nice guy, Roger Geary, he and Meltzer also have this little feud going on because Meltzer is very anti WWE in the terms of like when he was saying all the COVID stuff and he was saying all the stuff about like all these producers are like go. He never mentioned Four Load, and now Helms is back with the company, Angle's back with the company. They hired MVP Joseph Park, known as Abyss. So it's more of Joseph. He actually had a couple on-screen appearances with AJ as like his nerd stat boy on SmackDown back when he did on SmackDown. And so it's more of that, and it's the whole. So Meltzer was the one that broke the news of Cena is not missing WrestleMania no matter what, and then like a day later, Cena's like, "I'm stuck in Vancouver." So it's the big headlines. Like when we give our opinions, we hit a home run, right?
Yeah.
But
totally,
when he states it, he never states it as an opinion. It's more of like I was told, and therefore I think WWE is running a sloppy sop or whatever.
I want to play devil's advocate just for 1 second, and hear me out, okay? I'm going to play devil's advocate for 1 second about the Cena thing, and hear me out. But Cena did make an impact at the Royal Rumble. He legitimately did. They used his name, and it was able to make R-Truth go over to the corner, and then he got rolled up by Peter Rosberg. Listen. Had Cena been able to arrive and not been stuck, there's a very good chance that he would have been a part of that angle or that spot in some capacity. So him stating that Cena was going to be there and them using the spot with Cena's name, to me, indicates that originally Cena was going to be there. So
no. He said WrestleMania. He said WrestleMania, not Rumble.
Oh, are you talking about last year's WrestleMania?
No, this year's WrestleMania.
This year's
WrestleMania.
So the Cena thing is a running gag with R-Truth because R-Truth claims to be John Cena's biggest fan, so they use that against them. So that's why when Rosenberg was like, "There's John Cena,"
I misread the chat.
R-Truth.
That's why I was so confused.
Peter Rosenberg, also really nice guy.
Yeah, I misread the chat about that part, so that's why I got confused about that. That makes a little bit more sense now. But I still think he's going to be at WrestleMania. Does anybody think that he's not going to be at WrestleMania? Is that really a hot take?
If he's still taping, whatever he's doing, because I know he's taping some kind of movie or television series.
He's doing he's doing Peacemaker for HBO Max, which is going to be the DC series. But the thing is, if he comes back, they have to halt production for 2 weeks until they can start shooting again. And I don't think Cena's not The Rock. Like, he can't pull that off, you know?
He's pretty damn close. I'm not saying that I agree he's not. I agree. But he's very, very close. And I think that the majority of Hollywood, especially the ones that are working with him, would rather have him than not have him. So if he requested that, I don't think that would be a huge deal. But I don't think that it's wrong of Dave Meltzer to put his verbal balls in the sack. But
Matt, it's 4 weeks of shooting because you got to quarantine for 2 weeks when you get here, and then 2 weeks back. That's 1 month. 1 month is usually what I was reading online is how long it takes to film 5 to 7 episodes.
Yes, yeah, I don't doubt that it'll take a huge hit. I just what I'm saying is I don't think it's a crazy thing for him to say that Cena's going to be there.
So my problem with Meltzer, because I used to be part of the Wrestling Observer newsletter subscriber base back in 2013 on to about 2018, was that once I used to be like, all right, Meltzer said this, he got his sources right. As I started seeing people actually call him out on his stuff, and as he started, just throwing more biasness towards other companies, and just started trying to kind of like shade WWE, kind of turned me off from him. And when you call him out on something, he likes to ban you. He likes to block you because you're calling him out on BS. I was one of the people that got blocked by Meltzer because I called him out. I'm like, really? Like he brought up an article from like 6 years ago trying to prove a statement. I'm like, really? You took all this time to try to bring up this article, which is yours, but yet you won't actually admit that you were wrong. So it's like, that's where my dislike for him grew, and that's where I was just like, you know what? I'm done with him. Like, I don't believe I believe half of the stuff he says, but a lot of the stuff he's been getting called out by wrestlers and other news media guys on some of the stuff that he reports.
Yeah, but Dave Meltzer to me is a character, just like Skip Bayless is. Like these people, they only say these extravagant things so that they get people to talk about them, and then they win. I mean, I don't know. I guess I just don't understand it, and maybe it's because like I didn't ever read any of his stuff like with a very convincing tone to it or something. So like as I was reading it, I never thought like, oh, this must be legit or something like that. Like I've always looked at Dave Meltzer as a secondary cog in so much of this, because he's getting the information from a secondhand source, never from the firsthand source, because that's the way that rumors and these sorts of like industry people talk about stuff, obviously. So like everything he says is already half false, in my opinion. So like
I think the big one that really screwed him was when he said Kyrie and Io are both leaving WWE. It's confirmed, and Io's been on TV. Io's the NXT champion, and
where'd Kyrie go? What happened?
Kyrie went back to Japan.
Yeah, she's starting a family. She's starting a family, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, she went back to Japan. But
he literally got half of that right.
But he said that she was leaving the company completely. Kyrie is still in a WWE role as an ambassador. So
to me, that's so much cutting hairs. That's so much cutting hairs.
No, Matt, it really isn't, because people say the great Khali is an ambassador. You're like, oh, we never see him on TV. They just did a whole 2-hour superstar spectacle last Tuesday, which I'm sure you didn't watch, promoting only Indian talent, promoting all the Indian talent.
Yes. And if Japan was a small spot that they needed to gain more viewership in, like India is, because India is one of the largest populations of the world. They do you know how much YouTube the Indian country watches? Yes.
Yeah, YouTube took over for TikTok.
It's so much. So you know what Vince McMahon sees? He's like, we got this. We have this great ambassador, and we need to figure out a way to get him front and center to show that we're going to talk about this culture more and more. And that's the truth. Don't give me this. Don't.
All right.
Boys, you're too smart to talk like this.
We've spent too much time on Meltzer as it is. We got 4 shows to cover.
Absolutely.
So let's start with
I only
Royal
wanted
Rumble.
to hear Elias's thought on it. That's it. That's the only thing I wanted to hear talk about.
Let's start with Royal Rumble. Opening match was Drew versus Goldberg. I thought for the 2.5 minutes they had, it was fantastic. Or 3 minutes, whatever they had, it was fine. That's how you should use Goldberg if you're going to use him, which you shouldn't. But
I actually did like the way that Goldberg took the L. Usually the main talk of it was actually him winning the match, and when he lost, he actually looked good losing. He didn't look bad, and he gave everything he could to Drew McIntyre. So it kind of built Drew McIntyre to look a little bit stronger, which is going to be hard to try to find somebody that's going to dethrone him eventually if he keeps running through these people like that.
Well, if WWE,
100%. It was Goldberg. It was a part-timer. It was an old man who could barely pick up another man. What are you? That's what I'm confused about this. And a lot of the ways that they decide to put over young talent. This is the bad thing about WWE is they try to build this talent like they're impressive and they're beating up old men. Like it is not impressive. Somebody younger should be able to come and beat Drew McIntyre. They should.
Do you, Matt? Do you remember Age in a Cage, WCW, when they did the Roddy Piper Hulk Hogan match?
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now?
No, I'm getting somewhere with this. I promise you, I am.
I remember that? Do I remember Roddy Piper, Hulk Hogan, Age in a Cage match? Do I remember that, Moise? No,
it was a big event for WCW, so
I bet it was.
Should. But anyways, my point is working at 50 back then is different at working at 50 now. Back then, the wrestlers on the road, like cocaine, alcohol, everything.
Yeah.
Strippers, whatever. Now you've got wrestlers that Undertaker even said on Joe Rogan's podcast. All they're doing is they're in the back playing video games and they're working out. That's all they need to do: CrossFit, work, and video games. So 50 now.
You're not talking about Randy Piper. Roddy Piper. You're not talking about Hulk Hogan. You're
No,
talking,
I'm saying 50 now is different than 50 then, right?
but
Okay, so
Goldberg
let me.
is 50 then. He's not 50 now. Goldberg did go through a lot of punishment throughout the younger part of his career. I don't think he was ever like into coke or like drugs or anything like that. But like Goldberg is still, he looks like an old man in that ring. He doesn't look impressive. He doesn't look, I'll give you at least Edge looks very spry and young, and he has a very physique, lean body.
He's
but
shredded.
Goldberg does not look like that. And Goldberg has never been known to be a technical wrestler. He's only ever known about the spear. You know when Goldberg was good? Is when Goldberg came back for that first run and he beat Brock Lesnar. That was perfect. He had a spear, he had a jackknife, and it was over. And he stuck around for a little while, and then he was gone. And that's exactly the only way. That was the end of Goldberg. Never should he have come back again. Never. But no, he decided to pretend like he was a professional wrestler instead of an attraction. And that was dumb on the part of WWE. And this is don't give me that look, because you know that it's true. This match with Drew McIntyre, who's $1 million, such a good physical wrestler with amazing athleticism, and they're putting him up against somebody that not only should he beat, but it's not impressive that he beats. But if he was to go against somebody on the upper level of that card, honest to God, like I would rather watch Drew McIntyre wrestle Brock Lesnar for the next 10 pay-per-views in a row and have him beat Brock Lesnar.
Whoa. You complained about Drew and Randy after the third match.
Yeah, because I don't like Randy Orton, and I think that Randy Orton is somebody holding on to something that he should let go of and give that rub to somebody younger so that we can see more.
He gave it to Drew and The Fiend.
Agreed a little bit, not to Fiend. He fucked that up when he screwed over Bray Wyatt the first time.
No, but now he's got fire, burnt face, but it's normal after 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Great job. Wonderful sell.
All right, so my definite opinion on this one is that he looked good. Drew McIntyre looked good.
Yeah.
So I am excited and interested to see who's going to be the challenger. I'm interested in this program that he has going with Sheamus now, because that for sure is going to be a hard-hitting match.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But anyways, that was that. And let's talk about the pre-show. Asuka and Charlotte Flair lose their titles against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler.
Dude, no. Go to the second match.
All right. Sasha Banks versus Carmella.
Yeah. Woo. Carmella is money. And Moise, I'm sorry that I ever didn't believe that Carmella was money, because she's money. And she not only looked impressive, she handled herself very well in the ring. She had great heel heat around her the entire time. She does a decent job of being the screeching heel woman without like burning my ears, which I think is impressive all on its own, to be honest with you. And she looked good in defeat once again. Like I had no issue with her. The only thing that was stupid about the match was when her bodyguard got kicked out of the ring for catching Sasha and then taking a super kick. It's like, you're out of here. It's like, what did I do? I just got my ass kicked. You kick her out of here.
So the good thing about Carmella is that as the years go on, and since she's made her debut on the main roster, she's grown.
And she gets everything over. She gets everything over. And you see the growth, R-Truth, everything.
Yeah.
And you see the growth in her character. And you see the growth in her character every week. With this new gimmick that she has, which I'm guessing this was supposed to be Tennille Dashwood's or Emma's character when she came back and then turned back into that Emma character, the heel Emma character.
I think I think we're still personally, and this is from somebody that does not watch it weekly. I'm going to be watching it weekly up until WrestleMania. You guys should make sure to subscribe to this channel, because we're going to be here every single Thursday at this exact time talking about wrestling and all this fun stuff. And I'm going to be watching WWE and putting myself through that torture every single week so that I can be here and have a good voice to it. But before this Monday, I can tell you right now that I had not been watching it consistently at all. But she still just seems like generic heel woman at the moment. Like, not in a bad way, but I don't see character there yet. I do not see the boss. There. I do not see Bayley. You know what I mean?
I think she could benefit from winning that female battle royal if they have it, because I feel like her with that trophy, I just feel like it could be nuclear heat, because they will have crowds back after.
So with the way that Sasha Banks, that Bayley, Charlotte grew their characters, it took a while for people to buy into the character.
Especially Becky.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
especially
for sure.
Becky.
Yeah, but they never bought Becky was the problem with like she was over for other reasons. And it was anyways.
Yeah, but I think give her another year, she'll be on top of the landscape, on the same level as about Sasha or Bailey or Becky or Charlotte.
I agree. I think she could definitely pull off a Becky style, or not Becky, Sasha Banks style heel. With that kind of like, I'm the important person over here. I am the VIP. That sort of like generic kind of, heel, but with her own personality, which is what's going to give it that extra raise. Sasha Banks, though, I don't want to just talk about Carmella because Sasha's awesome. I think that she is one of the women in that early, 2019, late 2018, the whole start of the revolution and the changeover and all these things that we saw happen with her and Charlotte doing so much work together. Like she is still just as good as she ever was, and she is still impressing to this day. Like
this year has been this year and last year was the year of Sasha.
There's few talent, like not just women, but just talent in general that are able to play second fiddle like she did to Bailey and stay over and still stay popular and still stay relevant. Like it's an impressive feat what she did because she was able, she gave all that she had to make sure that Bailey got over the way that she did as a heel, in my opinion, and then was able to go away from it and stay just where she was.
Yeah.
Especially especially the way they fucked with her and where they told her like, hey, don't talk. We're only going to allow Bailey to have all the talk in the promos, and she's going to shush you when they do ask you a question. That is deadly to many, many talented people. And a lot of people in her
situation wouldn't be able to handle that.
Agreed, 100%.
When it comes down to actually her doing what she's done in the past year and a half, because we'll say a year and a half, it's been incredible, especially with her getting that part in The Mandalorian. Like, I really thought she was gonna suck in her part, and she was pretty badass on The Mandalorian for the episodes that she was in.
I need to watch that show. I haven't seen it.
You'll like it.
I'm not a Star Wars guy.
I don't like Star Wars either, but I want to watch it.
All right, third match.
Third match was actually the Women's Royal Rumble. I think this year's Women's Royal Rumble stole the show.
It was the best,
best match of the night, in my opinion. From the surprises that you had with Victoria coming back, when seeing Rhea Ripley, seeing Santana Garrett, seeing Toni Storm come and be part of it. I really enjoyed the mix of old and new that they had and current. And I thought that the final four were perfect. Having Charlotte and Rhea, Bianca, and what was the other one? Nia? Yeah.
No, it wasn't Nia. It was
Natalya.
Bianca. Natalya.
Yeah, they used Natalya in a good manner for her coming in on 30. My favorite portion was watching Nia get eliminated by Lana.
I liked all the Billy Kay stuff, and I'm not a Billy Kay fan.
That was fantastic. That was absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
I loved how like they were gonna go for that iconic shot, but then she's like, no, I'm Ruby Riott now, And then Jillian and Billion or whatever they wanted to call themselves. I thought that was great. I'm really happy Bianca won, especially after watching that Bianca Chronicle on the network. Matt, you should definitely watch that with your daughter because I know she's a fan. The Bianca Chronicle was awesome. And man, they always say behind a great man is a woman. Montez, dude, they made him look awesome in that too. So shout out to that Chronicle.
Yeah, I think they chose the perfect person to win the Rumble.
What a contrast to the Men's Royal Rumble. Like, we're going to get to it, obviously, and we'll talk about it. But, like, that is such a big contrast in what it is that they're doing in showcasing the talent and the range of talent that they have, like, as a positive, as an actual positive to WWE. Like, not only do they have the staying power of legends that are proven in so many ways, right? So many ways they're proven, but they also are building this new star that is an up-and-coming rising star and has shown that I think she has the chops to get to wherever they want to put her, in my opinion. But it's such a contrast, like in the way that the Rumbles felt different so very different, and the winners feel different, so very different, which I think is a very big positive. If Charlotte would have won for whatever reason, if they really chose to go down that road once again, I actually wouldn't have hated it. I wouldn't have loved it, but I definitely wouldn't have hated it because I think
wouldn't
Charlotte
have been mad if it was out of the 4. I wouldn't have been mad, even if Natty won, because Natty.
Oh, if Natty won, if Natty won, I'm not watching SmackDown. No, because you can only forget so much, and that's my problem with the same-ish Drew McIntyre storyline too. This guy just lost to Miz 2 weeks ago. Like, there's only so much you can forget.
Drew McIntyre lost to the Miz?
No, Sheamus did, and Keith Lee dominated him for 3 weeks. So why Sheamus get to step in front of Keith Lee now? And it's just where. But if it was between
Keith Lee in a champion, anyways,
his girl tested positive, so they were both held off.
That makes sense, I guess.
I think one of those spots was supposed to be for Keith Lee in the Rumble. I forgot which one.
Ricochet spot, they said.
Yeah. So
that's too bad. That's too bad.
Yeah. But I wouldn't have been mad if any of those won. I would have been happy if Rhea would have won, because I would have loved to see Rhea versus Asuka or Rhea versus
Sasha. That would have been. You know what? Rhea's such an interesting wrestler because she's so tall that I think it's very difficult for them to properly match her well. Obviously, she works super good with Raquel Gonzalez in that last woman standing match. It was fantastic. Moise was correct. I didn't even like the ending of the winner. But you know why I didn't like it? Because the person that I liked didn't win it. Not because it was a bad finish. Not because it was a bad.
But the person you like is getting called up. That should be scary. Yeah. That should be scary too because of how they booked the main roster. But even Rhea and Shayna, like when they had their feud, like Rhea's so good against. Like I would love to see Rhea and Asuka just because of the contrast, and we can still get that at Mania if they're going to go with.
I would be interested.
If they're going to go with
evolution, I think the evolution of Rhea has been awesome, though.
We can also get Fiend Alexa versus Rhea at Mania.
You got to explain the Fiend Alexa Bliss stuff to me because I'm off and I don't understand it.
We'll finish the recaps and I'll give you a brief history of that. But
okay.
Anyways, if you've seen the evolution of Rhea when she appeared in the first women's classic, the Mae Young Classic, I forgot she was
in that. I forgot.
She was blonde with it was her just being her.
She was mini Charlotte.
Yeah, mini Charlotte. So once she came back for that second one, her whole gimmick changed and her whole attitude changed. Once that started, she started steamrolling. The steam just started going ahead, and she just started being more and more badass. And I she's one of my favorite women wrestlers in WWE right now.
The women's division in WWE is so good. The women's division in both main roster and in NXT is so good. It is so good. It's almost unfathomable how much talent they have from top to bottom and how quality every single one of them. It is amazing. Like this women's Royal Rumble was not only the best women's Royal Rumble that we've seen up to this point. It's also one of the best Royal Rumble matches that we've had. Like last year's was great. The men's Royal Rumble last year was wonderful. Drew McIntyre winning was great. Even the Brock Lesnar, being a devastating force to the beginning of that was a great Royal Rumble. But like this was a fantastic Royal Rumble. Like I can't get over how great their talent is in their women's division. It's so good. It really is.
All right, let's get to that last man standing.
Last man standing match between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. Apart from the botch.
Okay, so I'm gonna defend the botch.
Okay.
So you take out the first referee. The original spot was planned for Jey Uso to take him out of handcuffs. Jey Uso is a lot more slim than Paul Heyman, and maybe they just didn't rehearse it with Paul Heyman.
This is not a defense. Just to be clear, this is just like you okaying it in your head as to why it was a botch.
No, because Jey Uso was supposed to be in the Rumble too. And we don't know what happened. WWE likes to keep their positive test quiet unless the superstar comes out with it. So it could, we're in a weird time. So, I did like you got the first referee and threw him into the steel beam. They killed each other though. They put their bodies through hell, and I loved it.
Yeah. Kevin Owens is like I want is one of those characters that whether he has a belt or he is face or heel, he's one of those ones that always brings a great match. Last year's WrestleMania with Seth Rollins, that was an awesome match in my opinion, and they just keep doing good things with him. Even
I
though
think they're
he's
doing
lost,
okay things with him, right? Like they're not allowing him to go over. Like, and I don't mean like
yeah,
allowing him to go over.
that's my only problem with it.
Yeah.
I wish that he would have gone over, at least once or twice, throughout this whole series. But
Did he win the first one? There was 3 matches. The first one was what? What was the first match?
The
Standard
first
match?
one was the cage match, right?
yeah,
No,
he
first
lost.
one was TLC, then the cage match, then the last man standing.
Yeah, he's lost all the pay-per-view matches that
I don't think they can give him a win. I don't, unless they're planning on having him be somebody in the next level, right? They can't give him even one win over Roman because it's too important to Roman to be that figure at the head of the table. And before Moise tells me to go and watch more of the awesome heel work from Roman Reigns, I want to let you know that I have been keeping up with it as an overall, like, what is happening in the world of wrestling, because I don't like Roman Reigns, but I do like his heel work. I do like what they've done with him.
You want to know what's funny though?
What?
He actually doesn't. No, our other co-host Chris Don doesn't like the whole head of the table gimmick.
Really?
You know what my favorite part of the heel Roman thing is? A couple of years ago, John Cena owned Roman Reigns on the mic. Roman was lost for words, forgot his promo, started repeating stuff.
Yeah,
we saw that same thing on SmackDown when Roman and Drew had their face-to-face, except Roman made Drew forget. And I love that because it shows you're putting your butt to work, and that's what these talents need to do to get over. And be like, oh, it's Roman Reigns, blah, blah, blah. No, you improve gradually, and when they finally do have him turn face again, whoever that heel is that they're going to have him turn against, that heel's going to skyrocket too. People were saying it was going to be Lars Sullivan, but he also got released.
Lars was never the answer to anything. I felt bad. I don't understand why. I don't know. I mean, I understand why, but he was so obvious that Lars was not going to be the guy. Like
No.
I would imagine to most wrestling fans, that's the weird part about it, is like I don't understand why any promotion. I'm not just talking about WWE. I'm talking about promotions in general. Why they feel the need to shove talent down people's throats and be like, you will like this if you give it a chance. Like, no, I've given it plenty of time. I've given it chances. I don't like this.
Here's the interesting thing about it. Roman Reigns was shoved down our throats so much in the past 4 years. Probably 5.
About 5, yeah.
About 5.
Yeah, 30, WrestleMania 30.
But interestingly enough, the heel turned everything around from him.
Because he talks like a normal, angry, pissed off wrestler.
Yeah, he's not making Jack into Beanstalk references and slobbering Sasquatch or whatever the hell he used to say. Like, overall,
he's growing slowly into this heel character. He's done a perfect job getting the right people with him.
Could you imagine if he had been this heel character when he beat The Undertaker?
That would have been awesome.
That would have been a lot nicer.
And that's why people like that Raw after, because he didn't say a word. He was just like, it's my yard now. So people were like, oh crap, is he turning heel? And then you had him feud with whoever the hell you had him. Yeah,
he instantly wasn't. It would have worked better had he turned heel directly after that. But I do wonder, because there's a lot of us as, like, I don't know, like, you can call me like the anti-WWE guy, especially in this room at the moment. But like, had he continued, or had he turned heel there, would it have been too soon? Like, would he? Because we don't know what the gimmick would have been. That's the problem, right? Like, it's easy to say like he should have been a heel a lot longer, but like, it's not the heel that's making this work. It's
the head of the table.
Yeah. Exactly. It's the character, and nobody knows what that character would have looked like, because he could have. I actually, and here's the thing is, It's My Yard Now was a prelude to Head of the Table, right? So it would have maybe it could have been very similar, and it would have been awesome, because that's what needed to happen when he beat The Undertaker, in my opinion. Anyways,
I think back then it wouldn't have worked.
I wondered.
Quick question before we go to the men's rumble. What does Kevin Owens do at Mania now?
I don't watch the product enough to have a good idea, sadly.
Okay, Elias.
I think he should go against Big E.
So that's exactly what I was going to say. Sammy, KO, and Big E.
That would be a pretty nice match, and booking if it's
Who are
correctly.
the champions for the U.S. title and Intercontinental title?
Big E
U.S.
has
title
the
is
U.S. title.
Lashley is U.S. and Big E is Intercontinental.
Huh. Okay.
So
Poor Lashley.
Oh
That's,
no, not dude. I don't know if you watch. They're building him, bro. They're building him right.
Are they? Are they?
Yeah, they really are building him pretty good.
MVP, and Riddle have worked their ass off for that boy.
MVP, very good manager. MVP, very, very good manager.
But people are crapping on the Riddle character. Riddle is working his butt off for Lashley right now, which a lot of people aren't talking about.
I'm glad I'm only watching Riddle matches and not promo stuff because I don't know how well he does on promos.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so
I know, right?
bad.
Right? In NXT, it was bad.
Bit.
Yeah,
bro,
it's still crazy.
Bro,
come on, bro.
Dude, he had a segment with Jeff Hardy backstage where they were going to tag team, and he was like, "We can beat the Hardy Bros," and I was like, "Oh my god." Okay, Men's Rumble. Riddle looked good in the Men's Rumble, by the way. I'll start off.
Riddle needs to have a match. Riddle needs to have a match with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania.
I think
they're on different shows, guys. They're on different shows.
Who cares? Inter show bull crap. They never stay true to that. Moise, stop dashing my dreams.
Okay, so I'll start with the Men's Rumble. I thought Riddle looked good. I thought Damon Priest looked great. I thought Carlito looked great.
Yeah.
Dude, Carlito is shredded. He looks better than he did when he was first run.
Why did this Rumble? Did this Men's Rumble feel less and it's actually not fair for me to say. It really isn't, because COVID times, everything is very different. I don't think it's fair to say.
You don't know how much was last minute. That's the thing with this.
Yeah,
Rumble.
that's the truth. So like, I don't even want to. I was going to ask, like, why didn't we see more legends? But like, who do we even need to see anymore? I was actually annoyed to see Hurricane. To be honest with you, I was annoyed to see Hurricane. I would have loved to see like
Hurricane was Hurricane was Jey Uso's spot. So I think that was the last minute. He's a producer. Throw him out there.
That's annoying. That's dumb. That's dumb.
Yeah, because you have Sanjay Dutt. You have Sanjay Dutt back there. You have Chris Park.
Hold on a second. Because if Dave Meltzer said that Hurricane Helms was a last minute adjustment because they didn't have anyone to throw out there, freaking Elias right now would be freaking out and saying like, "Stupid Meltzer doesn't know what he's talking about." No,
but
I actually wouldn't have known. Like, even if he would have reported that, I wouldn't have. There's some things I question. There's some things I don't. Logical stuff like,
I don't like.
All right. No more Meltzer talk, guys. Please talk about what you liked in the Rumble. We're already at 40 minutes, and we have 2 more shows to cover.
We'll just talk about AEW after this. It'll be fine. So, what did I like about the Royal Rumble? What I like about the Royal Rumble, the men's Royal Rumble, is I thought they did a good job, just like the female Royal Rumble, where people got good time, people got good spots, people got to show off for me alone, only me, nobody else watching got to enjoy this like I did.
Hey, you know what Vince says? Every episode he caters to the new viewer, and you're technically the new viewer.
100%, I agree, and that's what I'm being legit, and I'm being honest when I say that this was a reintroduction to me of all these people, every single one of them. And even my preconceived ideas of some of them, even though some of them are still the same shitty, terrible characters like King Corbin, still absolute garbage, both in the ring and as a identity that you're still holding on to this weak ass gimmick.
Matthew, no one's kicked out at the end of days. No wrestler ever has kicked out at the end of days.
Good job. Good. Yeah, one day it's going to be a transition move, just like the DDT. Okay, so it don't matter. Where's Deep Six now? Where's the Switchblade? Where's the Pile Driver? Anyway, sorry.
All right, so my favorite.
I would actually mind KO and Baron Corbin at Mania either.
I would not want to see that.
Anyways, back to subject. I thought Daniel Bryan looked really good in the Rumble match.
He looks physically really good right now. He looks better than he did when he came out of retirement. I thought he was too thin when he first came out of retirement. His body looks more built.
We're catering to a newer viewer. My dad said it's the haircut.
It is a little bit. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the haircut, not only did he look slick and fine, but it blended with the gray trunks. I love those gray trunks, man. Oh man.
Yeah, he was one of the I think he's one of the people that stole the show. And then of course Riddle. The final four in that match was
Final
Edge.
actually.
Fatal Five was Edge,
Randy Orton,
Randy,
Edge, Christian,
Seth Rollins.
Christian, Rollins, and yeah, that's the final five.
I would just like to state that I've seen multiple people on the internet say that they were surprised that Christian was in the Rumble, including Elias, as he said that he was very surprised. I don't know, Moise, were you or weren't you surprised? Yes or no?
So you haven't been watching. So a couple of months ago, they did Randy Christian match. It was a simple punt, and the match was over because Christian wasn't cleared. Christian went to doctors. He's been cleared for action now. And a lot of people thought his career was over. That's why the feel-good moment. That's why I cried when they hugged.
You know? Well, yeah, the hug was great. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm asking is, were you surprised that he was in the Rumble? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so like I was not. Like, and it was funny when Edge came out as number 1 or number 2, whichever one it was. When he came out originally, I actually talked to my daughter. I said, Christian's going to be in this Rumble too. And she didn't know who that was, obviously. She's like, who's that? And I was like, well, it's an old partner of his, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, and I almost, in our chat, I almost did. And I know that, like, hindsight is worth a dime and a nickel yesterday, but worth nothing today. I get that. But, like, I legitimately was not surprised by Christian coming to this match. Like,
actually, I was.
Like it made sense.
And I stay active in social media with, like, the wrestling stuff. Nothing was pointing
that blows
towards...
my mind because people are still asking for CM Punk to be in it, which is obviously not going to happen.
That was funny. That was funny because actually the thing that started that rumor was CM Punk saying, "Oh, quarantine for 2 weeks," and that basically was 2 weeks before Royal Rumble.
That's pretty good.
You know what Vince should have done? You guys remember when Charlie Haas used to come out dressed up as different wrestlers? If he would have played CM Punk's music and Charlie Haas came out.
That would have been actually really good if someone would have done that. Anyways, it just wasn't surprising to me. Okay, so going back to the actual Royal Rumble and the stuff that happened in it, yeah, I think that most of it was good. I did not like that Edge won. I think that it is here's the thing is this conversation can go on for a long time. So like what is it you want to talk about in terms of the Royal Rumble winner? Why are you excited to see Edge in a championship program?
Because Wednesday alone sealed the deal for me. Edge is in that.
But you didn't know Wednesday was going to happen.
Well, no. The whole thing about him coming back is basically like from the way I see it. He got stolen. He got his WrestleMania moment stolen 10 years ago when he retired.
He had so many WrestleMania moments.
Well,
what are you talking about?
So he dropped the title. He never literally lost the title. He dropped the title.
I know. He beat Alberto Del Rio before on WrestleMania. The next day he said, I have to retire. I don't want to. Christian then won a ladder match to get his first championship run versus Alberto Del Rio. I remember the story.
Yeah. So this is one of those things that, you know, basically from a storyline standpoint and a fan standpoint, from my opinion, is that he's getting that chance to regain the title that he never lost.
Do you want to see Edge with the championship? Do you want to see him with the belt?
He doesn't have to win. Roman just
he doesn't have to win.
But do you want to see him win? Is my question.
Yes, because Roman. I don't want to see him win. But Roman can destroy him, and that builds the Rock storyline for Dallas.
The Rock storyline?
The Rock is eventually coming back to put over Roman. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. If it doesn't happen in Dallas, if it doesn't happen in Dallas, it's going to happen in Hollywood.
No,
then it's not going to happen. I only listen to him.
No, Wrestling Inc. also reported it.
So the thing about it is, I would like to see him regain the title he never lost, and then put over a younger superstar.
Screw winning the title. I want to see Edge and Karrion Kross now.
And hold on, like, hear me out. So I would love to see... I would
rather see that too is the problem. Like, I want to see Edge work with the younger guy, but why does Edge need a title belt?
He doesn't need the title. If he wins or loses, it doesn't matter. But
Agreed.
The fact of the storyline standpoint is to get the chance to regain the title that he never lost.
Okay, so let me ask Moise first, because Moise says that he doesn't want it. He doesn't. You said you don't want to see Edge with the title, correct?
No.
Then why are you okay with him winning the Royal Rumble?
Because
the only people I want to see, hold on. The only people I want to just tell you where I'm coming from. The only people I want to see win the Rumble are not people that I need to have them win at WrestleMania. They're people that I want to see eventually be in the top spot. Like that's why I want Bianca Belair to win, not because I want her to win at Mania. It's because I want her to be at that top spot someday. I don't want to see Edge with the championship. Why would I want him to get a championship match?
So Edge's run has been pre-written. So basically, when he went on Raw, it was whatever. He went on NXT. Did you watch the NXT promo, Matt?
I did not finish the NXT promo. No.
Okay, so he was in the ring with Finn and Pete Dunne, putting both of them over. He said the line that's forbidden in WWE. You guys focus on that second W in this company, while Raw focuses on the E in this company. And then he's like, Finn, you were the first Universal Champion. You whatever. I don't care about the Finn Balor part. This is where I sparked. This is where I was like, oh shit. He looks over at Pete Dunne. He's like, dude, he's something along the line of, you're a badass, you can go. You know what Pete Dunne does? Shrugs his shoulder. You know what Edge says? 10 years ago, I would have done the same thing, kid. That's how you do it. You just end it.
I'll watch the promo. I don't disagree that I'm like okay with having Edge back in the company.
Matt, you just said it's crazy times. What if you don't know? What if you don't know what you want to do for Mania yet?
They already know what they're going to do. They're going to have him part of the main event, wrestling somebody for a belt. That's the problem.
Okay, who else would you put up against Roman?
Against Roman?
That's
okay,
what
so it's a loaded question, and I want to very, very bluntly say that I have not been watching this product up until the Royal Rumble. So like I know that like I'm being super biased in this. I know that I'm being like super like
before you enter, you already have the pre-build. Kevin Owens is one of his guys he looked up to growing up was Edge. So okay, you can always have that backstage interaction. You could always have that thing in the back of your mind like, oh shit, will KO come out and turn on Edge? You have so many opportunities now.
Yeah, but I don't love that idea at all, obviously. But you just give it to somebody else. You give it to Priest. Like here's the problem is WWE has now have been actually hurt by giving it to younger talent multiple times. Alberto Del Rio, they got burnt with. Sheamus, they got burnt with quite a bit. They got burnt with
even Money in the Bank. Swagger winning the Money in the Bank, same thing. Yeah.
Swagger. Yeah, like they've been hurt with giving these guys opportunities far too early in their career. But like then you go with like a proven quantity like Daniel Bryan, who the story of the comeback and all this other stuff is even more potent and strong because of the amount of time he's already been back. And I didn't know that he was a part-time wrestler. I did not know that prior to having my opinion, obviously. Now that I know that that's the case as well, I don't love the idea of Daniel Bryan getting
so Daniel Bryan, it's looking like it's going to face Cesaro. Daniel Bryan has already put over Cesaro on SmackDown twice.
Yeah.
So that's what it could be building towards that. It could also be building towards Shinsuke and Cesaro splitting up, and that be the opening match at Mania, which I would go crazy for if Shinsuke and Cesaro opened up Mania.
I'm actually done with Shinsuke. I'm actually done with him. I've moved on. I've told myself that all the hype around him that was built around NXT and his run, and even the stuff that he did in Japan, it is absolutely over. Absolutely.
Go watch SmackDown from 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, thank you for telling me to live in the past, Moise. Nothing existed besides Monday forward, Moise.
So we'll end it at this. I think it's a good opportunity for him to rehash that storyline of the title he never lost. Where he faces, whether he wins or loses, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good match. The matches he had against Randy Orton, and pretty much were pretty good. Yeah. It's just one of those things. We'll have to see where it goes, whether he challenges for NXT, Raw, or SmackDown. I'm interested to see where the storyline goes.
Can we also agree that last man standing matches are the worst gimmick match in professional wrestling, and they need to stop happening now?
I was gonna say the ladder match is getting to that point too because of how long people take to climb the damn ladder.
Yeah,
it's getting there. It's getting there. And also,
getting there.
If a wrestler gets up at 8 or 9 and then immediately stumbles, can we also agree that the count should continue going? Like in boxing, if you get knocked down and you stumble as you're getting up, they don't stop the count. Like it's not like, oh, he stood up for literally a quarter of a second, therefore we're done counting and we'll restart now. No, that's not how this actually works. Like if he's stumbling,
the E in WWE stands for entertainment.
Thank you for doing that for me. Thank you. I appreciate it. Moise, this is why you're my
favorite. That's Royal Rumble for in a nutshell. Let's get into AEW. Tag Team Battle Royal kicked off the show.
We don't need to we here's what we need to stop doing on these Thursdays. This is I'm spitballing with you guys live right here, right now. Okay. We don't need to come in here and just do recaps on Thursday like we're doing right now. What we need to do is we need to take our conversations that we're having in our group chat based around the wrestling that we're watching and talk about it here. Because I want to talk about Sting with you. I don't want to talk about a segment with Sting. I want to talk about Taz with you. I don't want to talk about a segment with
Okay,
Taz.
since Matt, I know you wanted to keep it at like an hour 15, hour 20. Let's just in AEW and NXT we'll just splurge. We'll say what we'll just splurge. We'll talk about what you want to
say.
talk
What
about.
you say. What we liked about AEW. Say what we liked about NXT, and we'll continue the conversation.
Ray Phoenix is a fucking star.
Oh my God, why don't they use him even more than what they're doing? Why aren't they pushing him to the fucking... Why aren't they treating Ray Phoenix like they treat Orange Cassidy? That is the crime of AEW.
I was going to say, why aren't they treating him like they treat Kenny Omega?
I think Kenny Omega's still in Kenny Omega atmosphere personally. And here's the thing: is
I'm not enjoying this championship run of Omega.
Why? It's very... You know what I like about it, honestly, is that it feels so much, and this is going to sound really shitty, so don't be an asshole right now, okay? It feels very generic, but in a good way. It feels like they're not trying to rewrite they're not trying to rewrite the wheel right now. What they're doing is they're taking a character that is a being built heelish, okay, and then they're bringing in their old friends, and then they're taking stars, known quantity stars from other places, and putting them with him as well to keep him in the position that he's at. And he's still a good wrestler, and he's not winning by heel tactics alone.
I'm going to agree with Matt, which I don't know how this is happening.
Surprising.
This is Kenny Omega transforming into whatever he's going to transform into, like Ric Flair transforming into nature. Like Ric Flair transforming into a nature boy. That's what this is.
The next part. This is the next part of Kenny Omega. Whatever that. Hopefully, it doesn't burn out. Because like right now,
I think that's my only fear. Like I like certain things that he's doing, like the way he won a title. I like the way he won a title.
And then ran out the door, right?
Yeah, just ran out the door.
It felt good because it even though it felt like it's something you kind of saw coming in a way, like in the back of your head type thing.
Except for the impact part, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like you don't know what's going to happen, but you feel like something's going to happen, right? You don't know what that something is, but when it does happen, you're like, that's more than what I expected to have happen. That's when it feels good.
And I have my doubts about it, and that's why I'm like kind of reserved about it, because like even when the Good Brothers reunited with the Young Bucks, it felt like the Young Bucks were kind of like, it might have been just in character, but it felt like they were just like, here we go again, and they just like the doubt in their mind is just like.
And now what have they done with that? They've built on that doubt. They've built on that emotional roller coaster of like, are we doing it? Almost it feels like for you, and correct me if I'm wrong. It feels like for you, the Young Bucks are you, where you're kind of annoyed with what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Like, are we really doing this again, guys? Is what it almost...
Elias is Tony Khan. Elias is Tony Khan. That's what he is. No, I agree.
Yeah, basically. Like, not like, and here's the thing. I'm Bullet Club fan from the get-go. I was there when I followed Bullet Club since the inception, when Prince Devitt started it all. Like, you know, and I followed Bullet Club all the way to now. And to see this reunion kind of like, really, like, are we gonna go back to that?
Especially because they can't say Bullet Club, even though they did. Because
now they got the handshake agreement. That's why they have the handshake agreement.
That's interesting, because my biggest fault with it was when they called it the band. The last time there was a group referred to as the band, it was when Scott Hall and Kevin Nash and X-Pac tried to go back into TNA and they became the band. And I thought it was the stupidest shit ever.
No. It was 3MB.
Shut the Moise. Moise, don't you ever say that again, or I will not ever show up to this show again.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. It's like one of those things that kind of gets me, which kind of interests me now with seeing Kenta on AEW. As where they're gonna go from this. If there is a handshake agreement, you won't see none of. If this is like people are predicting to see the OGBC come back and this OGBC versus Elite, the new Bullet, the reunited Bullet Club, which is Omega, the Young Bucks, and all of them. They left.
Not Young Bucks anymore.
Well, they're
you mean
still
when they left?
yeah,
Okay, I got you.
yeah.
I got you.
They left Bullet Club in a fashion where it was kind of like, oh, we're not Bullet Club anymore. We're the Elite, and they left, and they said fuck Bullet Club.
Mm-hmm.
So in a fan guy who follows Bullet Club, I'm like, why do you bring it back if you left it because you felt you outgrew Bullet Club?
But that's the nice thing about the Young Bucks not being a part of this. That's
kind
the
of
nice
are.
thing. But no, they're not. No, not at all. What are you talking about?
No, I agree. I agree with Matt. Yeah,
every week they're literally like, "Can he stop being a dick to us?" And he's like, and then Don Cal shows up and he's like, "Hey guys, let's talk over here in the corner." And didn't know that this camera was.
I like Don Callis. I like Don Callis.
Don Callis' role. Don Callis' role in this is great.
You guys should be lucky that you're talking to me right now. I'm here making history. My thing is my interest is to see what's going to happen next. Agreed. I know eventually we're gonna get. I know we're gonna get the Young Bucks versus the Good Brothers eventually. The seeds are laying there. I'm interested to see how Kent is gonna react next week on their match. Is he gonna turn on Kenny Omega? Not in the first match. No.
You never know.
I will bet you a handshake and $1 that he does not blow the buck on their first.
Matt's been really bad at bets lately, Elias.
I have been really bad. I've been. If you want a buck and a $1, take it.
No, one thing I do want to touch on, that women's Dusty match between Dakota Kai and Raquel versus Casey and Kaden.
Oh,
Matt, you watched it, Matt?
Yeah, I did. I watched the start of NXT, so I did watch it, and I was really impressed with who were the girls in the green suits? I don't remember their names.
Casey and Kaden.
Those girls are very new to me, obviously. So like I was not up on them, but wow, they're very talented. They held their own against a powerhouse team. And I thought that and that's the one thing about the women division in WWE versus AEW, because the women's division in AEW focuses so hard on trying to keep certain people on top so heavily that they don't allow the other talent to shine at all. And even in the match that they had on AEW, which was a very good match, it was one of the better matches they had. It never felt like either woman was going to be allowed to overshadow what they're trying to do with their current champion. What is her name? I can't.
Hikaru Shida.
Shida, yeah, they're not allowing them to even like get on the middle rope, like they're not even allowing and I get that like Brooke Baker is not a high flyer and like Thunder Rosa is like a mild high flyer and stuff, but like their match was so basic. I liked the beginning and the brawl part of it, but I didn't like how it became.
I don't think they have any women that are high flyers, Matt. Like Anna Jay's not a high flyer. Tay Conti's not a high flyer.
I guess that's true.
Nyla's not a high flyer. Only Rio was. It's only Rio and Cheetah.
Why don't they let not Nia?
Nyla.
Why don't they just let her run just buckshot over the entire division again?
They tried it in the beginning, but it fell flat after a while.
I thought it was working, and I thought the only reason why it fell flat is because for some reason, I don't know, like the match, even the hardcore match that they had, which was I think a very good match.
I think the Vicky Guerrero pairing hurt.
I agree. I completely agree. 100. Yeah, I agree.
I think it's one of those things that when we look at it, we need to. AW has so much to work on in the women's division to make it compare to Impact or make it compare to
having more than one match.
WWE. Let's touch on Team Taz versus Darby Allin and Sting.
I don't even know where to start with it. I don't even know where to start. That's the problem, is because like as a if you didn't like that promo, I want to know why you didn't like it, because that promo was good.
I like the promo.
The Ricky Starks promo or the Sting promo?
Both of them made the other one work. Had Ricky Starks not given what I thought was a 6 out of 10 promo, okay, and I don't like Ricky Starks, so my grade could be worse than somebody else's just on the fact that I didn't like it. But because he didn't do like this stellar job, but to have Sting not only save it, but to have an intensity to him that allows it to work the way that it does, like it's a good promo because of Sting in that ring, and it makes Ricky Starks. It makes Ricky Starks memorable better.
It elevated Ricky Starks,
mm-hmm.
and the whole thing that's going on. My only fear, and I made it bogle to y'all, is seeing Sting wrestle.
I don't know. I don't.
It's a cinematic match. Yeah,
No,
It
better
doesn't
not be a
matter.
cinematic match. It better not be. What are you talking about?
they've already
It-
filmed it, bro.
What the fuck you talking about? No. It
Yeah,
better not be a what?
it's a stuntman in Sting's place taking the bumps. Yes,
No, you're stop telling me. I stop spoiling shit for me, Moise.
it's not real, Matt.
Moise, it's still real to me. Damn it. Don't even. Moise.
Anyways,
Don't even.
anyways, back to subject. I still have my reservations about seeing Sting in the ring.
Yeah, but one of the problems with that promo was just that Darby Allin didn't talk. Like what that didn't make sense to me is that they didn't give the guy who is supposed to get the rub. Darby Allin is getting the rub in this match. He's the person that's supposed to benefit from this match. Why didn't Darby Allin have a starring role in that promo? It's weird that they gave Taz talk time, they gave Ricky Starks talk time, they gave Sting talk time. But where was the Darby Allin moment that you remember? Where is that?
I think it was supposed to be last week when they were breaking windows. I think that's what it was supposed to be.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. What does it do for Team Taz if they lose? Because this is about the second time that Brian Cage has lost a big profile match.
Brian Cage has to get away from Taz. He has to powerbomb.
But he had the FTW. He had the FTW title.
No, he
yeah,
didn't.
but
did you notice how
it's not doing anything for him?
Did you notice how it was gone? It would disappear again. Like it comes and goes when it wants to, but it was gone in that promo, which is a big indicator of to what they really feel about it still and have always. Like
I think he left it at home.
Me and Elias were there the night that he showcased the FTW belt, and Elias was there, and he could tell you I marked out like holy shit, this is awesome. I love this. I like this idea. But then they immediately tried to get him to go after the TNT belt and the World Heavyweight belt, and it's like, nope, this doesn't work anymore. You fucked the pooch on this, because the idea of the WTF belt is not, or I mean FTW belt is not that it's a title to engage in. It's a title to literally just say F you to the rest of them. Like that's the idea of this belt, and they don't use it like that, which is dumb.
Another thing I think we're all going to agree on is that wedding angle.
No, I liked it. I thought the wedding was fun. It took too long to get started.
I think it's one of those segments that it kind of fell flat at the end. They could have done a better job at surprising people.
I thought it fell flat at the beginning, but it lifted at the end.
Well, there were a lot of technical. I thought there were some technical issues, like the camera panned into Taylor handcuffing his leg, which they weren't supposed to, because why do I know his leg is handcuffed, but he doesn't?
You mean
feel
Charles?
It?
You mean
Charles?
Yeah, Charles.
And
Charles, what are you doing down
no,
there,
but
Charles?
this is
my leg.
I want to say this because everyone's like, "Oh, Cesaro's contract's coming up. He should go to AEW." Miro went to AEW and nothing happened. Like they showcase the talent you have first. Ray Phoenix isn't on TV every week. Why the hell is Joey Janela on TV next week?
And you love Joey Janela.
And I love Joey Janela. But I think Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss should be that tag team that keep getting beat up, and then eventually when the crowds get back, you can build them as the underdog story. Like they did with Ryder and Hawkins. That's what
this is gonna sound a lot worse than what I mean it to be, but one of the reasons why they screwed up with Adam Page was that he got kicked out of the main event scene far too early because they needed Adam Page to lose to more people.
Yeah. No, and Adam Page is one of the most over guys they have right now.
Mm-hmm. And they could have used him.
And I think they're still screwing the pooch on him because they could have had him join the Dark Order, and he could have been a good replacement.
You can't do it right after the death. I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah. I think you can't do it so close.
I don't think he would have ever fit into the Dark Order because
look how over John Silver is. You put him with John Silver. Think about the backstage promos you can have.
He did a good job with them, and they had great chemistry. But like Dark Order as an entity is not Adam Page's place.
Well, maybe they'll become the Light Order, and then they'll see the light and they'll be happy.
Here's the question:
the Dark Order,
who is fit? Because I don't think nobody else is fit to carry the Dark Order.
They really need
right
to end it. They really do.
Out of I think
decency.
I think
it's so over right now. It's so over right now, though, Matt. That's
over
the
for
thing.
the.
It is, but who? But who's gonna take Brody Lee's spot? There's
Why
nobody.
can't Evil Uno be the next up? Why can't he?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Why can't
I don't understand why they're not falling back on him more, because he has the benefit of being in a mask. To be honest with you, like the Dark Order and having a guy that's evil Uno, the number one, he was the number one to Brody Lee, is what it should have been technically, right? Because they all have fucking numbers, but like they didn't do that originally, and now like and he's slimmed down so much. Evil Uno looks like a badass mob boss in the end of a comic book or a video game. How can you not love Evil Uno in a suit? How can you not?
And that's my sort of like thing with AEW right now. They kind of screw the pooch on a couple of people that should be in the main event scene or should have a better position where they're at. I don't think they're doing a good job with Miro.
I disagree. I see. That's what. Okay, sorry. I interrupt too much. I apologize.
I think they're not doing a good job with Miro being that.
He hasn't had one match. He's only had 2 matches, Matt.
Yeah, and he's been there for a while. And if I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt that they're probably trying to figure something out for him, but I think they should when Miro debuted it should have been in a stronger.
But who did Miro beat?
Trent.
Orange Cassidy.
And what happened to Trent?
Orange Cassidy Trent got injured.
Trent got injured. So what do you think the program was going to be? It was going to be around the best friends. But the guy who's convincing to wrestle Miro is the one that's hurt. Chuck Taylor is not the guy to wrestle Miro. Orange Cassidy is not the guy to wrestle Miro.
But eventually it's going to be both of them versus Kip and Miro.
That tag team is a way different match. It's not the same. You can allow smaller dudes.
If Miro loses the match, what does it do for Miro?
I don't think that it hurts him because it's going to be a tag team. He wins. He will win one-on-one matches.
You lose the match, and that's how you split him with Kip Sabian.
Yeah, but not yet. Not yet.
But I wouldn't mind seeing yesterday when James Mitchell was there. I wouldn't mind seeing James Mitchell being like, "Oh, you want to see my new monster, by the way?" And Miro just go crazy and kill everyone.
I could see that.
Yeah, and that would be fine. I don't think that Miro is. I don't think that he's been used in a bad way or a good way. He is just there right now. And as with any wrestler who's waiting for their program to start, it's better to just be on TV than not be on TV. And he's still super over. He's still absolutely over in that whole capacity. He had the entire crowd singing, "What is love?" Like, and people loved it for the small audience that was there.
I think Miro made the segment. I really think Miro made the segment.
What is love? Anyways, when you have two best friends who like to kiss each other.
My only thing about it is that my only fear for Miro in AEW is that he's gonna fall in the same syndrome that that Luchasaurus, that Brian Cage, that what's his name, Wardlow fell in after losing a high profile match.
Also, Penelope Ford is their next big star. They need to get her out of this as soon as they can.
Agreed.
She can go in the ring. She looks like $1 million.
Why don't they have her wrestle? I don't get this.
Dude, and she's athletic. She's high flying.
Maybe she doesn't like to. Maybe she actually doesn't really want to. Maybe she wants to have aspirations to be a mom and they're trying and stuff like that. Maybe that's why they're not.
Okay, one more thing, Matt. Then this is my last point. Because I'm trying to keep in that time limit. Did you see the Karrion Kross and El Hijo de Fantasma promo?
No, I did not.
Okay, he didn't get that far. So that match is going to be one to watch, because the way that they faced off and talked to each other after, and that whole standoff,
bro. Escobar looked like $1 million, man. I can't wait for you to watch it. You're gonna be like, I don't know who Escobar is, but this guy's a star. It's what Alberto
was. He was on the last takeover, wasn't he? Who did?
Yeah,
he was. Yeah, I've seen a couple of things with him, and I like him. Who did he wrestle?
Last takeover he wrestled Grand Metalik.
Yeah,
I need to look at him because I do remember the name and I remember the gimmick a little bit, the high profile Mexican lucha guy and stuff. Anyways, my plan for next week, so everyone that sees this in the rerun understands, is that I plan to watch AEW live on Wednesday because I enjoy to watch that one on the night of, and then I'm going to be watching NXT on Thursday morning before I get into my other stuff because I want to be more up to date. Now that I know what we're watching, I'll skip the Raw highlights video.
You know what I do, and I switch off like whichever card I think is more intriguing. That's the one I watch. Like I watched AEW live, and now I'm gonna watch and I watched NXT after. So
after.
and that's what I like. You don't have to pick one entity, guys.
Agreed.
You can watch both shows.
I agree.
So
we have this great invention called a DVR. And streaming. I don't know if you guys have heard of this.
Just being a pirate, one or the other.
Yeah, like you can literally watch whatever you want.
Yeah.
So my last point, the main event of NXT was actually pretty good.
I loved it.
I enjoyed Thatcher and Ciampa together, and I enjoyed Thatcher and Ciampa against each other.
I don't. Wait, you got to tell me, why wasn't Ciampa in the Royal Rumble?
He was in it last year.
Yeah, why wasn't he in it this year? Why wasn't Johnny Wrestling in the Rumble this year?
I don't think they want to tease. I think they have certain talents that they're going to keep in NXT. Candice wasn't on it this year either. I think those are homegrown NXT like parents, like Candice, Johnny, and Uncle Tommaso. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, they're trying to keep the people that they don't want to make a rumor that they're getting called up because they want to. These guys actually want to stay on NXT.
Doesn't Adam Cole also want to?
Yeah, Adam Cole too. He was on it. He was in the Royal Rumble last year. I don't know why they didn't put him on this year, but on this, Adam Cole and Roddy Strong made Thatcher and Ciampa look like $1 million.
Was there only one NXT call up? Was it only Priest that was in the men's Rumble? No one else for NXT.
Not that I remember.
At least the one you had, you made look good. Kane put him over after the Rumble too, so that's good stuff.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty interested to see where this Priest, Miz Morrison, and Bad Bunny stuff goes.
Of course you are.
I think both main events, both shows' main events, delivered. Both matches delivered. I'm intrigued to see what's gonna happen next week on AEW with Kenta and Kenny versus
Lance Archer and Moxley.
So I'm intrigued to see that match. But I'm also intrigued to see the finals, not the finals, but the next semifinals match on both the women's and the men's side of the Dusty tournament. I think
MSK and Legado is going to kill it.
Yeah, and then Thatcher and Ciampa versus Grizzled Young Veterans is going to be one match to watch too. That's going to be straight hard-hitting old British styles type wrestling with Thatcher and the Grizzled Young Veterans. I think that even the face-off that they had was pretty badass as well.
So Matt, don't forget, you'll also need to watch NXT UK.
No, thank you. Even though I'd prefer that one, to be honest with you. Where's Tyler Bate? Where's he?
He
Okay,
no,
that's the only one I'm
UK.
watching, boys. That's the only one I'm watching.
Yeah, there's also something else.
Who's the NXT champion right now?
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor is okay.
Yeah, Edge put him over. That's a promo you need to watch. Yes,
I'll watch it.
Yeah,
I'll watch it.
So, all right, we're down to the last 2 minutes of the show. Anyways, is there any last points that anybody wants to make before we go offline?
I think that you should stop hating on Dave Meltzer and understand that he's just doing the best job that he can.
And figure out some way to get Naomi on my TV more. That's not with Lana.
Yeah, we're Naomi
and Lana are a tag team now or something.
What?
Yeah, they're gonna go against Shayna.
SmackDown sounds so bad. SmackDown sounds as bad as Raw.
That's Raw. That's not SmackDown.
Oh,
that's Raw.
Okay,
that's Raw.
Assumed. Wasn't Naomi
actually
on SmackDown?
SmackDown has the fallout from Royal Rumble. We'll probably see Bianca
there
probably challenge Sasha or tease that she's going to challenge Sasha. We'll probably see Edge on SmackDown as well, and we'll see what happened with the fallout of the Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens match and see what happens there.
Give me the too long didn't read on SmackDown tomorrow, okay?
Okay. All right, so that's it for today's show, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank Matt for coming on, and hopefully we'll keep has a continuous guest here on Weekly Wrestling Heat.
Show up on Thursdays.
Want to ask everybody to follow us on Weekly Wrestling Heat on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Follow us on our social media handles. I am Cerrero Moist H91.
You
Matt.
can't find me. I don't
Yeah.
get found anymore.
I am
Okay.
Mr. Matt Ice or something. I don't know.
Matty Ice, just as cool as my beer.
So, anyways, join us next week as we come back with another hard-hitting episode of Weekly Wrestling Heat. And always, we want to say peace out and have a good night. Thanks, guys.